Halacha Yidalid. Sefer Torah, Tefillin, Mezuzos, Shekasvan al Gabi or Behema Chaya ve'Ufatmein. If you have a Sefer Torah, Tefillin, or Mezuzos, that you write them on the skin of an animal, or a wild animal, or a bird that are tamei, or Gabi oros she'ena me'ubadin, or you write it on skin that wasn't worked properly, or Shekasvan Sefer Torah v'Tefillin al or Shelo ibdan l'shman. Or if you write these things, a Sefer Torah or Tefillin, he doesn't mention mezuzah, on skin that's not worked for its proper intent, with the proper intention, not lishma, harei elu psulin, these are puzzle. The Kesef Mishna says, Yudalid Sefer Torah Tefillin mezuzah v'chulu, ad harei elu psulin kvar nizbor lamayla, we already explained this. Halacha Tezvav, Hakosef Sefer Tefillin, Hakosef Sefer Torah Tefillin o Mezuzah. If you write a Sefer Torah Tefillin o Mezuzah, B'shas Ksiva lo haisa lo kavana, and at the time of writing you did not have intent, V'kasav azkara min haraskara shebehen shelo lishman, and you write one of the names of Hashem that was in that Sefer Torah Tefillin Mezuzah without the proper intention. Shelo lishma psulin, these are puzzle. Lefichach hakosef Hashem. Therefore, if somebody is writing Hashem's name, afilu melech Yisrael shoel bishlomo lo yashivenu, even if the king of Israel asks you how you are and gives you shalom, you should not answer him. If you are writing 2 or 3 names, you can stop in between each one of the names and answer. So the Kesef Mishna says, Halacha Tezvav, Hakosef Sefer Torah. If you write a Sefer Torah, B'chulu, B'han Nizikin, in Gittin, Amrin, and we say, Dahud Amar Sefer Torah Shekasavti Askara Shebelo Kasavti Lishman, that you have a person who says that this Sefer Torah that I wrote, the names of Hashem that I wrote in it were not with the proper intention. Pa'upasal Rabbi Ami. HaSefer Torah, Rabbi Ami said that the Sefer Torah was puzzle. And it's clear over there in Gittin that even one name that was written without the proper intention, it can make it puzzle. Therefore, somebody's writing. And the king comes and says hello. And the reason that he says therefore, that since is the fact that even one askara makes it puzzle, therefore that's why even if the king of Israel says hello, you should not answer. In order so that you should not take your mind off the intention of the apostle Sefer Torah and make a Sefer Torah puzzle. Because of Rabbeinu, Afil Melech Yisrael, and the Rambam writes here that even the king of Israel, Lomash Imhu Melech Agum Yeshivenu Kedei Shelo Yehargenu, that if it's a non-Jewish king, you should answer him in order so that he shouldn't kill you. But the Jewish king will understand if you're writing a Sefer Torah what the halacha is. And this that he says, somebody writes the name until it says in front of him from the letter before it. So that's already starting Halacha Tezayin. Halacha Tezayin says, that if you dip the quill to write the name, you should not start from and write the name of the letter of the name. You should start from the letter before the name. Okay, so in the Kesef Mishna that he's saying, he quotes this. Where is this from? B'Tosefto, b'Mesechet Sofrim, v'Kasv v'Harif, b'Hilchos Sefer Torah. And the Rif writes this halacha in Hilchos Sefer Torah. And what's the reason you have to write from the letter before the word, before the Azkara? And that's because maybe you'll have too much ink on the quill, and it'll fall upon it when you write the name. And you'll need to erase the name, chas v'shalom. Or maybe there's some kind of hair that got stuck to the top of the quill. And you'll lose the writing. Okay, so halachat zayin, again, we already read about how you have to start from the letter before. And then he continues and he says, Shachach lichtov es Hashem kulo. If you forget to write the whole name, and you wrote the next word right next to it. You already wrote the next word. Toleuso bin hashitos, you can write this name in between the lines. Aval mektas Hashem b'shita, mektas utaloi pasul. But if you write part of the name on the line and part of it up on top, that's pasul. It's very interesting because that's how the tzitz might have been, right? Kodesh LaHashem, Lamed Lamata and Havaya Lamayla. B'shara Tevos, Imshachach Kosev Mektsasa Teva B'shita, and with the other words, not Azkaros, you can write part of it on the line, Mektsasa Lamayla, and part of it above. When can you do such a thing? B'Sefer Torah. Aval b'mezuzah v'tefillin ein tolin behen afilu usachas. But with mezuzah and tefillin, you're not allowed to write a letter like that above the line, even one letter. But if you've forgotten even one letter, gonez mashakasav, you have to put in geniza what you've written v'kosev v'cherefs and write another one, because I guess it would be Shalok Sidran. And not Midin Ein Tolin. Or perhaps there's also, because the Rambam doesn't mention Shalok Sidran, but simply Ein Tolin. So it could be a din in Ein Tolin. In terms of this anyway. Shalok Sidran might be a second issue. Umuter lichtov es Hashem al makom han-garad, and it's permissible to write Hashem's name on the place where you've already erased, garad and machak, the difference is whether or not the ink was wet or dry. Dry or wet. I think garad is when it's dry and machak is when it's wet. I'm not sure. Bekulan. With all of these, once you've erased it, it's permissible to write Hashem's name there. So in the Kesef Mishna, halachat design shachach lichtov es Hashem v'chulu. If you forget to write the name and so forth, b'hakometz. This is in Nahakometz menachos lamed plukta de Tanai. It's an argument amongst the Tanaim. V'ka'amar Rabbi Shimon Shizuri. Rabbi Shimon Shizuri says, Kol Hashem tolin miktaso ein tolin, that you can be tola, you can write above the line the entire name that you forgot, but not part of it. That's Rabbi Shimon Shizuri. Amar Ravin Bar Chinana, Amar Ula, Amar Rabbi Chanina, Halacha Rabbi Shimon Shizuri. So it says there that the halacha is like him, like Rabbi Shimon Shazuri Umamela Mashma the Dafka B'Shem, who the intol automatically once it says specifically by the name. So that implies specifically by the name you cannot hang the letters. Habishar Tevos Tolin, but with the other words, other letters, you're allowed to do it even if it's only part of the word. When can you do this and hang a word or hang a part of a word? That's in Sefer Torah. But Tefillin Mezuzah, you can't. Yerushalmi Perakam the Megillah. Where is this? This is in Yerushalmi, in Megillah. Batam, and the reason Mishum Dahavi Shalok Sidran, because so that there it is. It's because of Shalok Sidran, not because of a special din of in Tolin. And it says in Mechilta that if you write them not in the order, not in the proper order, you got nezu. You have to put them in geniza in mechalik bin parshios bin tevos leosios, and it makes no distinction between a parsha or a word or a letter. One letter shalok sidran is already possible. It's permissible to write on the erased part. So, but where is this from? Beperaka comments Hatua b'shem. If somebody makes a mistake in writing the name, go to Ismashikasov. Vetole Mashigorar, you can erase what you wrote, and you can hang what you erased. Vekosiv Hashem al Makom Hagarar, and you can write the name on the place that you erased. So let's say, I guess, there's no room. You wrote one word and then another word, and in between those two words was supposed to be Hashem's name. So you can erase some letters to write Hashem's name. You can't write Hashem's name on top unless you write the whole name. But it's better to write, I guess, Hashem's name on the line, and the letters that you erased, you're gonna put them in between the lines. You're gonna put them up on top, even if it's only part of a word. So you can split a word in half and put part of the word on top, and then you're gonna write Hashem's name on the line, and you'll write those extra letters that you erased. You'll put them on top in between the lines. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Kolomar imlo kasav shem ben daled, shayalo lichtov. That is, if you didn't write the name with 4 letters that you were supposed to write, Gor Bitar, you can erase it with a razor. Shiya yafa makom hagarar, so that the place that you erased should be nice. Avaloyim chikeno b'orishak savlach, but you shouldn't erase it. There you go. Mechak is when it's wet, and garar is when it's dry. You should not erase it when it's still wet. Shelo yihi noya, that it's not going to look as nice. Rabbi Yitzchak Omer af mochek v'kosev. Rabbi Yitzchak says you can even erase it when it's wet and then write. Rabba bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Shmuel bar Marsa. So he says halacha mochek v'kosev. That's the halacha that you can erase it while it's wet and write. And once we've concluded that you can write the Hashem's name on the erased part, even when it's wet and it doesn't look as nice, so how much more so you can write it on the place that you erased while it was dry and scraped it off. Even tefillin mezuzos, you can do this, and meaning you can erase letters to write Hashem's name, and you can write it on the place that you erased. That's okay. But you still have to, of course, write it in the proper order by tefillin and mezuzos. You can't have a written more after that. Halacha Yudzayin. Kosvei Svarim tefillin and mezuzos. Aser lehem lahafech hayiri al pnei ela puris alea beged u kfufla. If you're writing a sefer tefillin and mezuzos, you're not allowed to flip the parchment over upon its face. Rather, you should cover it with some kind of garment, some kind of nice decal, or fold it over. I guess, or roll it up, I guess. So, Yud Zayin in the Kesef Mishna. Kos v'savarim v'chulu ad beged. Braisa parik basra de eruvin daf tzadikei. So this is an eruvin. Uperek hakom mitzraba b'lashon hazeh. And it's also in hakom mitzraba. Uperek sha'inyin shuhu rotze lahagin. Now what's going on over here? That he wants to guard it. Shelo yipol avak ala osios, so nothing should fall on the letters. See, I thought it was simply covered for the letters, but he's saying no. Why does he want to flip it over? He wants to guard the letters. And it says that you should not flip the parchment over. That makes the letters below. Makes it that the parchment's on top and the letters are on the bottom. That's a way of disrespecting it. But you should place a garment over it. Then dirt won't fall on the letters. And the Rambam writes another way to do this is to fold it. Halacha Yud Ches. Sefer Torah tefillin mezuzah. Shamar sofer achar shiyatzor mitachas yado lo chasavti azkar sheben neshama. And here you go. This is the Gemara that he brought before from Gittin Ban Niskin. That Sefer Torah tefillin mezuzah. That the sofer said after he already gave it, after it already left his hand. Lo chasavti azkar sheben neshama. I did not write Hashem's name in it with the proper intent. We do not believe him to say it's possible. But we believe him to lose all of his reward, all of his payment. That means the Sefer Torah is kosher, and you don't have to pay him. Maybe, and why do we not believe him to say the Sefer Torah is possible? Maybe he didn't intend to actually tell the truth. If we say that he didn't have anything to lose, so we would believe him. But if we say that maybe there's a reason why he said this. Maybe the person that bought it, he wants him to lose out, or maybe the person that hired him to write it, he wants him to lose out. And he thinks, well, maybe I'll only lose the payment for those names that I didn't write properly. Therefore, if he says this Sefer Torah or Tefillin or Shilahen Ina Miubadus Lishman, these the parchments are not worked with the proper intent. They were not lishma. In this case, just like we believe him to lose his payment, we believe him to say that they're possible here. Because everybody knows that if the skin was not worked properly, he doesn't get any payment at all. There's no way that he could say, oh, I'll only lose out a certain amount of it and then I'll be able to hurt this other guy. But rather, he knows that he's going to lose that whole payment. And therefore, we'll believe him because he's not losing anything. Okay. Yud Ches in the Kesef Mishna. Sefer Torah Tefillin Mezuzah V'chulu Ad Ein Schar Lo Klal. So the whole halacha from Sefer Torah Tefillin Mezuzah to where he doesn't have any. Everybody knows that he does not have any payment at all. Begitten Perek HaNizkin, like we said, this is in Gittin. Ahu Da'asal Kami de Rabbi Ami, that person that came in front of Rabbi Ami. Amar Le Sefer Torah Shekasafti Leploni. And he said, this Sefer Torah that I wrote for so-and-so, Askara Shabo, Lokasavtim Lishman, Hashem's names that are in it, I did not write them with the proper intention. Amar Le Sefer Torah Biad Mi. He said, who has the Sefer Torah right now? Amar Le Biad Lokeach. He says, the one who bought it has it. Amar Le Nemanat Al Hafsitz Charecha. So he said, you're believed to lose your payment. But you're not believed to ruin the Sefer Torah. Amar le Rabbi Yirmiyah. So Rabbi Yirmiyah says, Nihida ifsit charos karos. So he says, certainly he lost the payment for those names that he didn't write properly. We're still saying the Sefer Torah is kosher. So why should he lose the reward for this, the payment for the whole Sefer Torah? He just said that those names are no good. Maybe he should just simply lose payment for those names and still keep the payment for the rest of the Sefer Torah. Amar le in shekal Sefer Torah she'enos karos shebo ksuvos lishman einu shaveh klum. He says, yes, he loses the whole payment because if you have a Sefer Torah that its names are not written lishma, it's not worth anything. And then you have a person who came in front of Rabbi Avehu, Amar Le, and he said to him, Sefer Torah shekasavti leploni gvilin shebo lo avaditim lishma. And he says that those skins that are in it, I did not work them with the proper intent. Amar Le Sefer Torah biad mi. And he said to him, who has the Sefer Torah? Amar Le biad lokeach. He says it's in the hands of the one who owns it. Amar Le min toch she'ata ne'eman lahafsid tzcharcha. And so he said, just like we believe you to completely lose your payment, ata ne'eman lahafsid Sefer Torah, we believe you to say the Sefer Torah is no good. Mishna mid Rabbi Ami. And what's the difference between this case and the case of Rabbi Ami? Hasam ikal me'emar toi. Rabbi Yirmiyah, there you could say he made the mistake in thinking, just like Rabbi Yirmiyah thought, that he's only losing the payment for the names. Here he knows that he's going to lose his whole payment. And he still came and he said, Kushtak Amar, so he's saying the truth. So Rashi says there, that you could say, what does it mean that he had like this photo like Rabbi Ami? That he's lying and he had the intention to do damage. And he thought, well, it'll be worth it for me because I'll only lose the reward for the names. Rabbi Yirmiyah, just like Rabbi Yirmiyah thought. The other who is she'afsid kol scharo, but here by the parchments where he knows that he's going to lose his whole payment. And he still comes and says, that's when we'll say that he's speaking the truth. Okay. Halacha Yutes. Ein kosvin tefillin mezuzah ela b'ksav ashuris. You can only write tefillin mezuzah and the ksav that's called ashuris. Assyrian writing, which is the tradition from Halacha Moshe Sinai, according to the conclusion in the Gemara. But it was permissible by Sefer Torahs to also write in Greek alone, meaning no other language other than Ashuris and the Greek letters. And these Greek letters have already sunken away from the world, and they were ruined, and we've lost it. Therefore, all three Sefer Torah, Tefillin, Mezuzos, you can only write Savashuri. And there's a huge Agos Maimonides here on this halacha. And you have to be careful when you write it that one letter should not touch another. That any letter that the cloth, that the skin does not surround it on all four sides, it's puzzle. And any letter that the child who's not wise and not stupid can read it, he's not able to read it, so that's puzzle. Therefore, you have to be careful with the image of the letters, the way the letters look. They depict the way you write them. The yud shouldn't look like a vav. And a vav shouldn't look like a yud. V'lo kaf lebeis, and a kaf shouldn't look like a beis. V'lo beis lekaf. V'lo daled l'reish, v'lo reish l'daled, and a daled shouldn't look like a reish, and a reish shouldn't look like a daled. And similarly, all of this, until the one who's reading them should simply be able to read straight through it without any trouble. Okay, in the Kesef Mishna, halacha yutes. Ein kosvin tefillin v'chul. We do not write tefillin and so forth, except in Ksav Ashuris. Mishna, so Perikam the Megillah. Ein bein sfarim letefillin mezuzos. It says there that there's no difference between Sfarim and Tefillin Mezuzos, Elasha Sfarim Nechtavin B'chol Lashon, but only this, that the Sfarim can be written in any language. Tefillin Mezuzos Eina Nechtavin Ela Ashuris, and Tefillin Mezuzos can only be written Ashuris. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer Af B'Sfarim Lo Hitiru Shichtu Ela Yavanis. So Rashbag says that even in the Sifrei Torah, it was only permissible to write Greek, not any language. So that's in the Mishnah. The Gemara there in Megillah, Rabbi Avihu says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, halacha Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. That's the halacha, like Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, that you can only write Sfarim also in Yavanis. And this, the Rambam writes that Yavanis has already been sunk down and forgotten. Klomar also lashon Yavani. That is to say that language of Greek, that they would speak during the times of the sages of the Mishnah, this has already been forgotten. Sure, the way that it was, I guess, the way that it was done then. That is, that any letter that's not surrounded. What is this? Where is this halacha from? That it has to be mukov kvil. That's in Perek Komes Menachos Chavtes. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amarav. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Kol os she'ein gvil makifa medal ruchoseha psula. Any letter that the gvil does not surround it on all four sides, it's possible. Veshino Rabbeinu lashon gvil, or, and the Rambam here changes the language from gvil to the skin, in order to include tefillin mezuzah, which we said it was not necessarily on gvil. It can't be on gvil necessarily. The mitzvah for mezuzah is duchsustos, and for tefillin is cloth. And any letter that the child cannot read it. Where do we learn this from? In the Gemara Rami bar Dikuli, the Hu Chamor, the Rami bar Tamri. So Rami bar Dikuli, who's the father-in-law of Rami bar Tamri, if sikle kari devav devayaharug, he got a some kind of break in the vav of the word vayaharog. Also, l'kami de Rabbi Zera, and so he came in front of Rabbi Zera. Amarle zil isi yinuka. He says, go and get a child, lachakim velati peish, who's not too smart and not too stupid. Yikarile viyaharog kosher. And vilav puzzle. If he reads viyaharog, if he reads it properly, like a vav, then it's good. And if not, it's puzzle. And this that he says you have to be careful with the letters. Nilmad uvdazu. You can learn it from this mice, from this that happened in front of Rabbi Zeir. That they have to look like letters. They have to look like the right letter. Or if even a child should be able to recognize the letter right away. So there, this is where we learn about switching the letters one to the other. This is in Shabbos. That you should not make the yuds like vavs, vav in yudin, base in kafin, kafin basin. Okay, then it actually starts the next halacha. We'll do the next halacha, chaf, in the middle of this Kesef Mishna, but he doesn't. He starts right away. It says chaf or shay and nakuv. If you have a skin that has holes in it, lo yichtov al gabi hanekev. You should not write upon the hole. V'chol nekev shadio veras alav inu nekev, and any hole that the ink can simply write over, that's not considered a hole. Muter lichtov alav, and you're allowed to write upon it. Therefore, you're allowed to write on the skin of a bird shinis abe that was properly worked. If you have a hole that got poked in the skin after it was written, if it was poked inside the letter, not on the ink itself, but inside the letter, could go in toch hey or toch mem, like in the middle of the hey or in the middle of the mem. And similarly in the other letters, but it's not actually on the letter itself, kasher, it's okay. So you might think that since it's sort of part of the letter, it's inside the hay, and it's part of the hay. It's not outside, so maybe it ruins the hay. We say no, it's still okay. Now let's say it actually touched the letter, and this hole actually poked a hole in the letter, to the point where it cut the letter in half. If this letter, the top of the part of the letter, it still has enough that it still has this enough for a small letter, like a yud, like let's say the dalet's leg got cut off, but it still has the yud amount above it, so it's still kosher. As long as it hasn't changed the way it looks to a different letter. And if it hasn't changed, and if it doesn't have that amount, the small letter, so that's possible. So the Kesef Mishna says, or skin that was at a hole, b'Shabbos perek shmona shratzim, amri b'marava. It says in Eretz Yisrael, they say, kol nekev shadio veras alav, any hole that the ink can go over, inu nekev, it's not a hole, mimilash imina uveras nekev havi. And so automatically we learn exactly the opposite. So that if it is a hole, that it cannot go over, it's considered a hole. Lichtov al gabi hanekev, you cannot write on this hole. Therefore, it's permissible to write on the skin of a bird. And let's say the skin got a hole. Amar Ashiyan bar Nadbach Mishmed Rav Nikiv Tochahe. If you have a hole inside the hay, kosher, that's kosher. Yerecho, but if it's on its yarech, meaning on the letter itself got cut, puzzle, and so that would be puzzle. So upirshu law. So, but how much does that yarech mean? And so they explain it there. That if in that case of that the leg got cut, if it still has a nos katana to it, it's still kosher. Vim lav pasul, and if not, it's pasul. And this that he says that as long as it doesn't look now like a different letter, nilmad uvda the rami bar tamri. This we can learn from the story of Rami Bar Tamri, where the vav got cut off, and it could have looked like Yaharog. It says it's if he reads it Yaharog, so kasher v'nilav Yaharoghu. If not, it's now the word Yaharog because the vav is no longer long enough, and the child read it Yaharog instead of with a yud instead of that vav. So that teaches us that you can get cut off and still have enough to look like a letter, but it looks like a different letter. It looks like a yud instead of a vav. So that's what the Kesef Mishna writes. He just wrote that story, and that's where we can learn this halacha from.